Okay, I'm gonna wait for someone to come in here before we start this video. So if you are watching this and it is no longer live, then just fast forward through a little bit. Okay, so I have one person here so far. That's good enough for me right now. 2 people, great. All right, so hey Don, I know I'm like 10 minutes early. I'm supposed to start at 8 o'clock, and I'm starting 10 minutes early. I'm literally cramming everything in right now, and I can't do a video at 8 because I have company coming over. Hey Marquise. Ugh, my schedule is like insane. So this is gonna be a really short video, which I wish it wasn't, but I'm gonna do more videos. I'm clocking time. I'm gonna do more videos about this topic. This is just basically a little bit of like an overview. So the LGBTQ community, when it comes to religion, mostly Christianity, because that's what most of us have a background in. That's what I have a background in, is Christianity. So I'm just gonna get it out first, and then I'll read whatever you guys write or questions you guys have or whatever it is. So I've always felt really funny about how Christians view gay people, and I've never really, not that I never understood it. Well, no, I don't understand that neither. I don't understand how it's an abomination. But I always kind of looked at it as it just being unfair. Like, it's not fair that gays are told that they're going to go to hell. I can never understand that. Like, that is not something that really resonates with me. So even as a Christian, even growing up in the faith, I didn't agree with what the Bible says, and I didn't agree with what a lot of Christians said or what church taught when it comes to gay people. As Christians, I have a lot of friends. Well, I had friends who are gay, and my cousin, he's gay, 100% gay, and I just could never, especially in the ICOC, understand how God could say, I love my children, but if you are gay, which that's something you can't help, you can't control how you feel, then you're gonna go to hell. And never really could see how that's okay. So that is something I feel free from now that I'm not a part of Christianity anymore. I used to have to lie about what I thought when it comes to the LGBTQ community. I used to have to lie as a Christian on what I thought about it. And if someone would ask me, do you support gay rights? Do you support gay marriage? I would say, well, I mean, I don't want to meddle in anyone's business, but the Bible says that it's a sin, so I guess I gotta follow it. It never really went with what I really thought. I always just kind of went with what I was expected to say and what I was expected to think, just because this is what you're taught as a Christian. You're taught that you're supposed to not be against it, but you don't really support it. You know, they say, like, hate the sin, love the sinner. So I tried my hardest to hate that and to see it as a sin. But I didn't even see it as a sin, so how could I hate something that I didn't even see as a problem? The way I always thought of it was, if you're not meant to be gay, or if God doesn't want us to be gay, not us, but, us as human beings, to be gay and have these feelings towards the same sex, then why wouldn't God have created us to be straight? It just doesn't make any sense to me why an all-knowing, powerful God can't just control things on his own. Because if I was God and I didn't want anyone to be a certain way, I'll make sure I create everyone to be the way I want them to be. But then Christians always say, well, that's where free will comes in. God gives us free will. All right, so then why give consequences for using your free will freely? Like, why make it so that, if this is true, which I don't believe in anymore, sorry, I'm blowing my nose, allergies again, but if it's true, right, if it's true that that it's a sin to be gay, and if you can go to hell. And I'm like blowing my nose in front of you guys. I'm so sorry about this. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's just either that or my nose is gonna be dripping in front of you. And this is not edited, it's live. But if it's true, right? If it's true that gays are gonna go to hell, then why even allow, why make a creation? You understand what I'm saying? Like, why make a creation that is gonna go against what you want them to go by? Like, if you're God and you want everyone to be straight and you want everyone to follow the rules and to be a certain way, why not create us like that in the first place? And if you love your children, then why would you send them to hell? Because honestly, being gay isn't hurting anyone. There are people who kill people. But if you're gay, you go to the same place as a person who is a murderer. I just can never understand that. So I think about the people who are gay and they consider themselves Christians. Christians will not consider you. Majority of Christians will not consider you a real Christian if you admit to being a homosexual. They won't. They won't claim you as one of their own because they say in the Bible. But then it's controversial because a lot of people read the Bible and they're like, well, it doesn't really say that. So it's confusing. That's another thing. If God wanted us all to read the Bible the same way, why not just make it like black and white? Just crystal clear for us to understand instead of all these freaking riddles and stuff. And I'm not saying this isn't coming out as me venting. This is just how I really feel. I don't really talk on this channel about my thoughts when it comes to God and when it comes to the Bible because it's just I have a lot of thoughts and I don't really think about it too much. But I think I'm going to start going into that more on this channel, is talking more about what my real thoughts are. Because now I'm at a point in my life where I'm not so afraid to use logic. Whereas my whole life growing up, I could use logic with everything except for when it comes to God. Because when it comes to Christianity, you're not supposed to use logic. You're supposed to go with what the Bible says. And doesn't matter what your opinion is, doesn't matter how you feel about it, doesn't matter if it makes you uncomfortable, you have to go with it. And that's always been an issue for me. And now that I'm free from religion and I'm no longer a Christian, I feel like I don't have to stick with that lie. Like now I could go in with my truth and I can say, look, this is how I feel. And this is how I feel when it comes to gays. I feel that if God of the Bible were real, then he would have been smarter and he would have made things the way he wants it to be. Because I have kids and I can't say, well, if my kids don't do things the way I want them to do it, I'm sending them away. I can't send them to hell, but let's just say I'm sending my kids away. But I love my kids, but they didn't do everything I wanted them to do. They didn't do anything evil, but it doesn't matter because all sin is the same. So anything my kids do that I don't want them to do, it doesn't matter how severe it is or how simple it is. It's all the same thing to me. I'm sending them away. That doesn't make sense. You know, but I love my kids, but I'm sending them away. I would never do anything like that. And at the same time, they also like to say, well, God loves us more than we love our own children. No, the hell he does not. Because if you can send your child to hell to burn for all eternity because they acted on their feelings, even I know they try to hide it because usually gay people before they come out the closet, they try to hold it in, they try to hide it because it's not so acceptable by society. I mean, nowadays it's becoming more acceptable, and they try to hide it. They try to go the straight route. My cousin did the same thing. He tried to date females. It just never worked. He never liked women. Ever since we were kids, he never was into girls. But then, even though he didn't do anything evil, he's a beautiful person, but he's still going to go to hell for eternity because God doesn't like the fact that he's gay because he didn't force himself to be straight. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Trying to think what other thoughts I have on this topic. What are your thoughts? What do you guys think? I think that's pretty much basically it when it comes to me. I mean, because I didn't want to get into too much death because this is something I want to make a video about, but it's something I do think about often. And when I see gay people and they say they believe in God, then I kind of wonder, what are their thoughts? Oh, my dog again. He hears a dog barking, so he's barking. I wonder what the gay people who say they believe in God or they believe in Christianity, I often wonder what their thoughts are when it comes to where they're going to go when they die. If they believe in hell, if they believe in afterlife. Shh! Sultan, you said you're confused about it. It is confusing. It is really confusing. Like, a lot of it doesn't make any sense. And it bothers me. It bothers me so much because it just sounds like such an evil thing. I don't know. I don't have any problem with the gay community at all. I don't think they're doing anything wrong. I don't think it's my business to sit there and say who you can and can't be with. Because the way I think about it is like this. I've always been attracted to men or to boys. And now I'm attracted to men. That's been natural. It wasn't something someone told me, you have to like boys. I don't remember anyone ever telling me that. I just naturally, I literally remember being in preschool. I was 4 years old. I was playing in one of those little, it was like a little tunnel toy, and we were playing in it. And there was a boy in there, and we were playing doctor, and I automatically knew I just liked boys. It was normal. You know, it's the same thing for gay people. Now I'm not talking about bisexuals, I'm talking about 100% gay. Like, it's normal for them. They automatically just like the same sex, the same way that we automatically like the opposite sex. I agree with you, Marquise. It is not unconditional. It's not, because a Christian can say they love you unconditionally, and some of them may show that they love gay people. They may show that they love without showing judgment. But if you were to ask them and tell them, or make them take a lie detector test and see where they think that person is going to go when they die, I assure you they're going to fail if they lie and say they're going to go to heaven. Because majority of Christians don't believe that gays are going to go to heaven. Flower Child is absolutely right. They have a lot of conditions. It's like, we love you, but you have to follow our road and our path. You have to do things the right way. Read the Bible. Follow the Bible. Don't just read it. Follow it. Which means that you have to be against all these things. It's a lot. He's damn to hell. Like, he loves you, but only if you follow. Exactly, Marquise. That's exactly my point. Like, I don't think God's love is unconditional. They say it is, and I'm telling you, I know so many people are saying, oh, Tina, you know, you're becoming woke, and I never really use that term, but I do know what it means, but I do believe that I am waking up to something, because I've always been taught that God's love is unconditional. God loves you unconditionally, but now I'm like, that's not unconditional. I love my kids unconditionally. My kids could go and kill 1,000 people. I'm going to say put them away, lock them up for life. They can't be in civilization. But I'm going to love my kids. I'm not going to, they're going to, I just contradicted myself. Maybe, let me see. Maybe that's how God sees it. Maybe God sees sending you to hell as like a prison sentence. But prison doesn't hurt. Hell is like, the way Christians describe hell in the Bible is like fire, but then it's for crimes that are not really crimes. Like, that's the part that confuses me, is sometimes I'm like, okay, I can get where the Bible's coming from, but then another part is like, but wait, that's a little extreme. Like, what about people who are Muslim? They're gonna go to hell, Are you gonna send your child to prison because they're Muslim instead of a Christian? A lot of stuff is really confusing. Just gonna read what you guys are writing. And you will get cut off if you don't follow it. You can be friends since, and you will still get cut off. That's a Mimi question. Not having kids, I would not. Exactly. Like, it's one thing. All right, so yes, it's one thing for me to say my kids killed a bunch of people, so send them to prison. But to say, um, send them to like the most torturous place, it just, it's like, I really do believe that the Bible was used just to scare people into fitting a certain way and into being a certain way and following certain rules, because that is very extreme. And it's hard for me to go from, I used to not use logic and now I use logic. It's hard for me now that I know how to use my logic to go back to just thinking like off of blind faith. It's hard for me to do that. I can't, because it's just hard. It's so hard for me. And I'm believing in the Bible less and less. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm believing in Jesus less and less. I'm believing in a lot of things less and less, and I'm not atheist. I'm not there. Like, I believe in something, a creator, but like I said before, not necessarily a creator, like it has to be a person or a he or a she. I believe in something. I just don't know what the hell it is. I'm not trying to figure it out, because I'm not going to figure it out, because I'm alive, Maybe when I die, maybe I'll figure it out, or maybe I'll never figure it out. I'm not going to waste my life trying to worry and figure out who, brought all this into existence and brought us into existence. But I do question things. And sometimes one thing that people think is that just because you question things, that means you actually were looking for an answer. Like, I've just started coming out of my holy closet, telling friends, like, oh, I'm not a Christian anymore. I'm not, like, all my friends knew me as being a Christian and knew me as, like, being the girl who goes to church. I'm just now starting to feel more comfortable with being like, no, I don't subscribe to that anymore. And some people are like, what? Why not? Well, what do you believe in? And well, I hope that you find your path and get the answers to your questions. But I never said I had questions. I just said I'm not a Christian. So people assume that you have questions. Or if you do question things, people assume that you're looking for answers. I question things, like I question, why would God allow his children he loves oh so much to go to hell for being gay if he loves them unconditionally? I question that, but I'm not looking for an answer, because I don't think there is one, because I don't believe that it's even true. Like, I don't believe hell exists. I don't believe that any of the stories in the Bible really happens. There's a lot of things I just don't believe in anymore. Yes, exactly, flower child, exactly. People think you're lost, people, and I want to make a video about that too. It's like, people just think that you are trying to find your way. Like, my friend who's Muslim, actually, and she's like, well, I hope you find your way, and I pray to God that God shows you your path. I'm not lost. Like, I'm not trying to find my way. I actually feel like I found my way already, because I've left religion. And it makes it easier now, because I used to fear so bad when I was in the ICOC. One of the women that I did studies with, her son is gay, and she was like, I'm like trying to get him to come back to God. I know where he's going. And I was just like, I thought about my cousin. I was like, I asked her, I'm like, well, my cousin is gay. I mean, he's not gonna go to hell, right? And she's like, well, if he's gay and he's living out the lifestyle and he's not doing God's purpose and he's not living out the way God wants him to live, then yeah, he is. That scared me to death. That was the first time I was scared being a part of the ICOC, and that was when I had just started doing, I was just finished doing my studies. I was actually right after I got baptized, and I was so scared because all I kept thinking about was my cousin. I'm like, oh my God, he's gay, but I don't think he'll ever be straight. And I was so scared, and you're not supposed to be scared. And then people talk about how we're not supposed to be fearful, and if you have fear, then that's not of God. But it is of God, because in the Bible it says all these different rules. And if you fear these things and you fear hell, that's because that's what God created, right? God put that in the Bible. God wanted them to write this in the Bible. So it is of God, the fear. I mean, he's the one who started the whole light and darkness and the sins and all this stuff. But that's why now, like, I just don't believe in these things anymore. Just reading comments. The freedom to exist is like the perfect way for you to say it. Love people for who they are. I have a best friend that I cut off because of the religion. I'm able to love him freely without judgment. Wow, that's deep. Was he gay, your best friend that you had cut off? I hope you find a way because your way is not their way. And they think their way is the only way. Michael, you're so right. That's true. Like, that's exactly what it is because your way is not their way. Oh, wow, he's married to a man. Good for him. I bet he's happy. See, like, I can say things like this, like, oh, good, I'm happy for him. When I was a Christian or, like, when I was a part of the ICOC, I couldn't admit I was happy for gay people. You know, I used to have a lot of gay friends in high school. And my husband is a perfect example. Not to put him on blast or anything, but my husband does not agree with gay life at all. He feels that you should love the person, but they're committing a sin, they're doing something wrong, and this is not how it's supposed to be. This is all Satan's plan. So I said, well, because my cousin has a boyfriend, and he's been with him for probably like about 2 years, but he's like really, it's like a real serious relationship. He's really into this guy. My cousin's just a few years older than me. And so I'm like, you know, he's maybe, what if he gets married? You know, I'm like, I would definitely go to that wedding. I know gay weddings must be exciting. I've never been to one. I'm dying to go to one. So my cousin was like, I wouldn't go. And he said he wouldn't allow me to take my kids. Because I was like, what if, you know, my kids are allowed. My kids are a little bit bigger, so sometimes they could go to some weddings. I'm like, you wouldn't let me bring them? And he actually said no. He was like, I wouldn't want them to go. If you want to go support him, that's fine, but I'm not going. And I was just like, wow, that's really sad. That's sad. The religion has to make you think like that. It's not affecting you. It's not like if you go to the wedding, you're going to turn into some rainbow. You know what I'm saying? So he's not a homophobe, but he is uncomfortable with gays. And, you know, let me read what you guys wrote. I'm glad, Flower Child, that your friend is really happy and that you guys are friends again. I love gay people. Gay people have, especially gay men, very free-spirited. My cousin is like that. Very free-spirited. They just are happy with who they are. And I love to see people happy. It does not matter to me what your preference is when it comes to who you sleep in bed with. What matters to me is the heart and who you are. And that is like the most important thing to me. So, I mean, people asked me before, like, how would you feel if one of your kids were to turn out a lesbian? I mean, if they were to turn out a lesbian, at least let it be one of them so I can have grandchildren, you know? Like, at least let it just be one. I don't know what to say I would prefer. I probably would prefer them to marry a man just because that's what I'm used to. It has nothing to do with religion. But if they were to marry a woman, I'd be like, whatever. I would most of all prefer my kids to be happy. I would hate for my kids to follow a life they don't really feel like is suited for them. I would hate for my kids to pretend, you know, when they grow up, to pretend to be something they're not and marry someone that they don't really love just because they are afraid of what I'm going to think or what I'm going to say. I would so much rather them just be happy, whether it's with a man or a woman. And I know the Christians don't agree with that because Christians are like, no, they have to be with, you know, the opposite sex. And like the way that my husband thinks, remember my husband's a Christian, he feels that if a person is gay, it has something to do with the way that they were raised, that they were not given enough love and attention from the parent of the opposite sex. So my cousin, for instance, he questions how his relationship was with his dad, and his dad's in his life. His dad, like his parents are married, but my cousin was just never into sports and all that. He's always been into more like a metrosexual type, not really feminine, but you know, a little more. He's always liked Oprah and Entertainment Magazine and all these things, and it makes sense because now he's a director. He directs some shows and stuff, and he writes scripts, and so it makes sense. But my my husband thinks, you know, it has something to do with how the person was raised or if they were hurt or whatever. I think that's nonsense. It's ridiculous. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. So many people in the church are gay and living life unhappy in their marriage. It's sad to see a person living a life for approval. That's very true. Like, think about it. How many people do you think are out there, especially in the ICOC or in any church for that matter, who are gay but are pretending to be straight? And they're married to someone that, you know, that they had to force themselves to love, but they still have thoughts of the same sex. I mean, when I was in the ICOC, there was a man who wrote a book. Can't remember. I used to have the book and I can't remember. But he wrote a book. He was always gay, and then he got married. God changed him, and he married a woman, had like 3 daughters, and now he's straight suddenly. But he admitted that he still has thoughts, and in his book he was basically, it was a book for people who are gay and are Christian, and it was also for people who have family who are gay and they want to help other Christians understand what it's like to be gay as a Christian. And in the book, he's basically self-help book, helping people, is a Christian self-help book, helping people to, I don't know, to get to kind of like have faith in God, that God is gonna turn them inside out and make them straight all of a sudden. It's weird, but I questioned it. Like, you still have gay thoughts, so maybe you're still gay and you're just holding back, you know? I can't imagine what someone who is gay must have to go through life in society. Yeah, I think about that all the time, Michael. I think about that all the time, especially lately. What do they have to go through is crazy. Like, the things that they go through as a gay person. I would be terrified if I was gay and I was a Christian, because hell terrifies just us. Imagine being gay and you still have those emotions and you have to fight it and you have to do everything you can to just not go with it. I actually want to do a video. If I have more time, I will get into it. I want to do a video talking about like the gay camps they have. I read an article about it, and they're trying to do this thing where they're trying to go make a law where you can no longer have, I forget what they call them, but like these gay camps where the parents send their kid and to this camp. Deconversion camp is what it's called. I don't know if you guys heard of it, but it's on YouTube, and it's basically a camp parents send their kids to have them go from being gay to being straight. And so I'm gonna have to write that down so I don't forget. But I've had a couple of people who, yes, religious conversion therapy, it's so ridiculous. I have a couple of people who watch this channel who are gay, and some of them are teenagers, and I've had them email me, and my heart really goes out to these people. And so I was like, I should start making some videos for the gay community who were a part of the ICOC, because I want to make sure that, you know, that our community that we have here, that we built together, because, you know, you guys built it too, this is your channel too, that we make it so that everyone can relate, you know, including the gays. We don't want the gay people to be like, well, does she have any videos for us? You know, because they are out there, and they are attacked, and it's really sad. So let's see. I'm learning that there is nothing wrong with you as well. Yeah, May Rose. Are you part of the gay community? No, I just, from your last, without being gay, religious undertones to it. Just, I don't know, just from what you wrote, I wasn't sure if you asexual. Okay, cool. Exactly. Finally being at that place in your life where you can say, I'm happy with who I am. I love who I love, whether it's male or female, does not matter. That is important. And I think that once you get to a point where you can love yourself, you don't always have to seek validation from other people. And this is what I always tell people, that, you know, when you're leaving religion or when you're leaving a cult, once you love yourself and you're comfortable with yourself and with the choices you make for yourself, you don't have to seek validation. Like, I'm finally getting to a point myself where I'm not looking for validation from other people, or allowing other people's thoughts and opinions on the fact that I'm no longer Christian to affect me or to make me think twice or to doubt myself. Because now I'm like, no, I know this is a path I'm on. Call it new age, call it spirituality, call it what the hell you want. I'm happy and it's working for me. So that is really important. Yeah, see, Flower Child, that's so sad. There's so many people in this world who are like that are praying that God changes them. It's just, it's really sad. It really bothers me, and this is just what religion does, you know. It's what religion does too. So I'm gonna have to cut it off, because actually my daughter's friend had slept the night, and her mom is coming to pick her up, and I'm like, crap, you know, this is the time that I do my videos. Let me just read what you guys wrote real quick. I'm going to be blessed because you're trying. Totally agree with you guys. Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. Oh, all right. So also keep a lookout. I have a video which I'm uploading tonight. I just finished editing it. It's processing through. That takes like an hour. And then I'm going to have it up as soon as it's done. And that video is about the ICOC campus recruitments, because I've also been getting a lot of emails from people who are on campuses and getting recruited, and family members who have family members that were recruited on campus. So I'm making a couple videos on that, and that's pretty much it. I think we should talk more about this gay thing, because I feel like there's so much we can say about it, and like I said, we want to make sure that everyone out there can know that they're not alone, and they can see that we have people who have advice for them, and you know, like people who, like how you said, I can't remember who was it said, Flower Child, that you have a friend who's like praying to be changed, people like that. It has to be really hard to go through it. My heart seriously goes out to people like that. I always feel so sensitive to things like this, as if it's happening to me, because it just bothers me, you know? It just bothers me so much. Oh, I have a headache. I gotta take something for it. All right, guys. Well, I'm so sorry. I have to cut it short. 8:23, 32 minutes, not bad. All right. I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. I love you guys so much for always coming on here and just being so supportive and, you know, talking, all of that. Bye, Dawn. I'll see you guys in the next video. Keep a lookout for the video I'm uploading tonight, and enjoy your Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Enjoy your weekend. Love you all so much. Bye, Michael.